Okay, so hi, and today we're going to play this climate adaptation game. And let's start. Okay, I like this. um, yeah, let's put. Okay, what is it? The world manages to turn the emission increase by 2020, or global temperature increases by 1 degree. Okay, the world manages to turn the emission increase by 2040. Global temperature increase by 2100 is around 2 the emission continue climbing during the whole century. Global temperature increase by 2100 is around 4.9 degrees. Mm, okay, let's play from hard to easy. Continue. Click the speech button to see our new coordinator for climate adaptation. I'm delighted that you could start today. My name is Kim Person and I'm the chairman of the City Council here in Weatherton. Come in and I will brief you. Our city planners are constantly working to adapt the city in line with new needs. We have always tried to adapt the city according to the weather conditions, but now that the climate is getting warmer, we can expect more extremely weather and even trigger challenges. Okay. Your first assignment will be to collect information about the most highly prioritized adaptations and the alternatives we have to choose from. Nice. First, you will check on risk for agriculture and the possibility of building new housing area. The city council will then continue to do based on your materials. Okay. In assignment, you have been given some money. You can see money. Okay. You have some lives. Oh, that had been put in danger. Okay. In connection with the city's climate adaptation work, we have also been tasked with meeting some of the UN's Global Sustainable Development Goals. Number 3, I think is related to save lives, clean water, affordable energy, sustainable communities, and life on land. Using of forests, reducing new contributes. Okay, okay. You have reached a level, I think it's like neutral for this goal. To settle the goal, you have to reach a level higher. Okay, so like right now, the city is kind of like really bad about the goal life on land. For the others, it's kind of neutral. Now the time to take your first measure. Click on the icons on the map for information about the different choices. You must make choice on each mission before you can move forward in time. Okay, to meet the goal, you must reach the greenest level. Say, when climate adapting a city, it's important to know what the experts are saying about the climate change. Okay. Oh wow, this is nice. At the bottom, you can see SMHI. It's a Swedish game, by the way. With the risk for different climate weather during the coming 80 years, click on the graph for more information about the risk for each decade. I already feel a little bit afraid to learn about these things. Okay, risk until 2030. Not sure what are these things, but I guess this is rain. Yeah, okay. Here you can see this is 100 years rain. This is 10 years rain. So if you're watching this and you don't know what does it mean, in let's say hydrology or hydraulic, no, definitely hydrological studies, on average, there is going to be a certain amount of precipitation in the area in a let's say hydrological basin every X amount of years. So for example, every 100 years there's going to be one type one a specific amount of water that is going to be released let's say, and it's going to be on average 100. So it might happen, for example, in the year 2000, and then for the next 100 years nothing happens, and then it happens in the year 2150, because on average it has been like once per 100 years and once per 10 years. So these are kind of like yeah, specific hydrological numbers, and I really like this approach actually. Then what is this? I have difficulty like reading it. It's uh heat wave, 7 heat wave. This must be drought, 100-year drought, and sorry, 10 years drought and 100 years drought. So the same explanation that I gave about the rain is similar for the drought, because it's the opposite of the flooding and rain. So yeah, you can how to. Okay, so here, for example, 10 years rain, it happens every 10 years, so it's not like something major, but for the rest, oh, you can see that, yeah, the risk is higher, I guess, if it's what it means. PRPC 85, it's the emission continues climbing. Yeah, that was the same thing that here, that like emissions is going to climb. Okay, so you see, yes. Oh, it has explanation actually. Extreme weather is the form of torrential rain and drought, can happen in two magnitudes, 10 and 100 years event. A 10-year event occurs on average once every 10 years, and a 100-year event on average once every 100 years. Heat waves are are counted as continuous periods, 3 days and 7 days in a row with a certain temperature. Okay, I didn't know about the heat waves myself, that it's like how it is, but it's very, very nice to know. Um, in the right column, you can see a summary of how you're doing over the years. I have to say that I'm playing this game for the first time myself, so completely new for me. In the right column, how you're going over the years. So tax income, income from buildings, maintenance cost, drought, heat wave, rain, and we have only like 12,000. It's pretty empty there right now as you make your choices, and the years past figures will tell you economy is doing and what citizens think. I wonder how the citizens are actually going to say. Um, I found this game actually in a paper. I will put it at the end of the video and also in the description box. It was a very, very nice paper. Now it's time to take our first measures. Click on the icons on the map for information about different choices. You must make a choice on each mission before you can move forwards in time. Okay, so make a choice on. Okay. Um. Now it's time to your. Okay, so year 2020, we have like two missions. I will go for densifying the city because I'm a civil engineer. We need new housing. Here are four alternatives, three measures you can take, and one which means doing nothing. Okay, so this should be doing nothing. Click on the alternative to read more about it. We need to make new housing. New housing will increase the flow of new citizens and increase tax revenues. If you want to densify the city, how should the housing area be designed? Click on different alternatives for more information. So even before I do that, I can see that this is like a very concrete gray kind of city, more green and like kind of quite green because the buildings are also green. But you can see that it's like also more costly. Apartment blocks with individual parkings, nice. Apartment blocks with carpool parking. Apartment blocks, carpools, abundant vegetation and water. This mission is connected to the following factors: sustainable cities, good health and well-being, clean water, affordable energy, life on land, heat wave, and rain. Um, I would say just explanation. Maybe the rain is because the more concrete you have and the more you block, let's say, the ground from water penetration due to water events like rain, there is less chance for the water to go underground, and this increases the chance for the flooding in the city. So probably that's what it means by rain, because if you have more vegetation, then they're going to absorb this water and in the first place, and then they're going to stop the water to go towards the city and hurt the buildings. About the heat waves, again, I think the so for example, you can see like there is this green roof. When the sun is hitting a green roof, there's going to be a part of the sun rays that is going to be absorbed by the vegetation on the top. So therefore the let's say heat waves are not going to be reflected back, which means this is unlike this case without any vegetation or green buildings. So there's going to be less urban heat island kind of thing. Uh, I'm thinking out loud for myself. I kind of like this approach. Um, I don't know how it's going to be in the next steps, but maybe for general public, I would like to learn this kind of like relationships between, for example, the things that I see as an engineer here, and these icons. We have to make a choice. So 12,000 going completely for a very green city. I think it will, maybe in 2020 it will stop us from going towards other goals, and at least at this moment I think it would make sense to like take the middle ground, apartment blocks with carpooling, and then we can spend the rest of the money somewhere else. I already really like this game because I don't know what's going to happen in the next step. So let's see. Under each alternative, there are two people who give their opinion. One is for and the other is against. Click on the speech bubble to see. Okay. Probably go. People want to move to our city and the business need more skilled workers. This is a good suggestion for attracting new people to the city. And this one, it's even if it's a good idea to consider the environment, it is also important to build housing where all residents can afford to live. These suggestions, this suggestion risks increasing segregation. Um, well, I um, I don't know. Apartment blocks with carpool parking, bright facades, awnings for shading, which means that there's going to be again less heat and less solar reflections. Plenty of grass surface, rain gardens. Um, well, in the context of a city, because I don't know if like the map is going to expand or not. But let's say that we still need people to live here. Definitely. So I like to go actually with this idea. Do you want to select yes? Um, and then I have 2,000. We are fine. Adapt agriculture to drought. So let's see. The past few years have been a longer periods of drought causing significant harvest losses. Do you want to implement any of the flowing measures? Definitely, I think it's important to invest. So the reason that I was hesitating in the previous step was that what I can see is that even though we're kind of seeing map of an urban area, it's both urban and rural because you have usually farms and agricultural land in the rural settings or outskirts of the city. So I would say it now it makes sense to say that because the game is a simplified way of a map. So it would make sense to say that okay, like there are people going to come to this region, not that is urban and rural, but also we're going to provide some housing, but also we're going to improve the, let's say, nature and agriculture. So it's um, drought resistant crops and irrigation system. We don't have money for this. Desalination plants, that would have been a very good idea. I would go for irrigation. Let's see what happens. Local food production is important. This could be a good idea, especially if the pond can be used as a marshland for increased biodiversity in normal years. Pond of that size create ugly wounds in our beautiful cultural landscape. Open landscape shouldn't mean open wounds. An irrigation system requires a lot of energy. Don't we want to use less energy? We do. Replace half of the field with more drought-resistant crops, build an irrigation system, and the pond to collect rainwater. The supply of the water to the pond can be limited if the drought is strong. That's true. This alternative affects the following factors for extreme weather. The ratio to the worst possible selection is shown. So if build irrigation system requires energy and access to the water for downstream users. Um, Okay, let's see other alternatives. Okay, this is even though it's like cheaper, it's less, yeah, it improves everything. Replace crops with more drought-resistant crops. This alternative affects the following factors. Okay, good is that we live in a global world with global food market. If we get droughts for a year or two, we can always import what we need from areas with a surplus. It's easier and cheaper for everyone. A good insurance policy protects the farmers against financial losses. True. So the opposing point of view is that everyone has pros and cons. If we know there will be a drought, we can sow drought-resistant crops, but we don't know that every year the harvest will be smaller and the price is higher. No, we need water. I didn't quite understand the argument because at least my point of view is that there is going to be more drought and there's going to be more extreme weathers. About this city, my impression is that it's kind of in Sweden. I wish there was like more information about the city itself beside the name, like what geographic area it is, what was the latitude, let's say, in which continent it is, because I believe these kind of measures are, even if the city has like 12,000 budget, some of these measures might make more sense if you know where you're standing in terms of how much you can, yeah, how rich is the country, or what are the typical extreme events. Is it more drought, for example, or is it more rain? Um, so this is maybe a point of improvement for this game. The next option, drought resistant crops, irrigation system, and desalination plant. Food is the basis of the society. We must secure a stable food supply. We've heard of the argument that we act in global food market before, but what happens if other countries secure food for their own people first? Sure, it requires energy, but basic needs should be put first. Um, okay. Sure, food is a basis, but desalination plants use huge amounts of energy and cost to build and maintain them is massive. Personally, I have no knowledge of how costly it is to create one, and especially how costly it is to maintain a desalination plant. Because sometimes you have some measures like that might make sense in 2020, but you don't know how they would be in 2050. You know. So replace our field with mortar, okay, build irrigation system so the supply of water to the pond can be limited if the drought is long. Build a desalination plant to provide irrigation reusing seawater when the pond is empty. This alternative affects the following factors, for example, whether the ratio to the worst possible scenario selection is shown. I let you read. I'm reading. Well, we don't have any money. The other option is to do nothing. Um, I'm not sure if we're going like the financial part of the game is still like unclear to me. So I don't know if I say I do nothing, do I have the chance to like build this thing in the next years? But now at least we have like 2,000, and I would like to very much go with the first option because it increases everything, and then in the next years we can maybe create a pound if we didn't do it. Nice. I don't get what this means, but okay, let's see. So now that we have done this, oh, so July 2022 weather tone. Saturday, no one escapes the heat. Weather tone is being affected by increasing number of forest fires in the area, and the agriculture sector has experienced noticeable problems due to drought. Um, to be honest, it's a little bit of a long text to read for general public. Uh, this is the second time I'm seeing games are using a sort of newsletter kind of thing. I really like this approach. I don't know how other people like this, but let's read. The farmers are expecting less than half of normal harvest. The lack of animal feed will probably require emergency slaughtering of both cattle and horses. There is a drown out heat wave with oh, I should have started reading from here. Anyway, now there's a water shortage and an open fire prohibition in the affected city. Trees and bushes are turning yellow and losing their leaves. Lawns are yellow since the surface water is very low. The vegetation simply cannot absorb water from the ground. The high temperature are resulting in heat consequences, especially for children, the elderly, and the sick. The politicians of the Venezuela must make difficult decisions about how to distribute resources in the society in favor of a more sustainable development for everyone. Um, but we have to consider that we are playing like the hard game. So I think if we had made the same choices in the best case scenario, which was just the increase of 1.6 degrees of Celsius until 2100, the same thing would not have happened. From this point of view, as an expert, I really like that the game kind of challenged me to think about this. Which more? Sports celebs dies, weather tones asphalt soft proved too much for 85 years old player who to many as a devoted coach at a weather sport club. Two children have also been admitted to the hospital due to the heat. Fortunately, their conditions stable. The city is calling for citizens to drink plenty of water and be observant for dizziness and nausea. Experts at MSP confirm similar heat waves will be more common in the future, definitely with 8 degrees. Okay. Um, Another thing, maybe another point of improvement is that the first newsletter for Saturday, I guess, was for 2022. I didn't check what was the last one, but this one is like 1st of May 2023. So crops withering, farmers are complaining about the drought, unusual low precipitation. I'm getting a little bit impatient. I'm not going to lie. I just like to go back to playing. But if I want to kind of break down the game for you, at the first part we read about food production on Saturday. Then the Sunday newsletter was more about the effects of climate change and the measures that we took on the people. And now we're going to see it on the crop. Risk weathering since it's too little groundwater for the plants to absorb. Not enough. The flow, natural. So again, like going back to the argument about not knowing where in which latitude country this city is. I would have imagined that some like I would have imagined that like Sweden has less drought issues. Um, I really don't know actually. This is something that I need to go and read. to understand if they actually will have drought issues in the next couple of 100 years, or if it's like actually the case now, and is that why they are like having this game. Anyway, as if it was not enough, the flow of water from natural catchment area is also decreasing. Okay, this could be the case. This causes local water shortages and sometimes local conflicts about how to use the available water. True, the city council will discuss the supply of water and prioritizations between household irrigation and industrial cooling in the Veneton area this week. Experts at SMHI say that more droughts are to be expected. Droughts will be more common in the future since Veneton is expected to see higher temperatures, leading to increased evaporation and decreased water flows. The Veneton Nature Preservation Association and the Farmers Association AGRI are organizing a rally to adapt the city today before it's too late. Oh my god. uh, so is it like is it so I'm afraid not to read, because I also kind of see that like things are improving here, and I see that there are the costs are like there are some like costs are being incurred here. And I see that, okay, now we are going to August 5, 2024, which is actually 3 months from now. Kind of. So the heat wave is here to stay. It's experienced fantastic weather with temperature above 26 degrees. Yeah, this is the university PC, so they usually give these tips in the middle of working day. Uh, so with temperature above 26 degrees. Again, like this is like because I don't know where is the city, I cannot really judge if temperature above 26 degrees is abnormal for this region. Is it something that happens like only once or like kind of like 1 month per year? Or is it something that happens maybe 6 months a year? After lasting for 3 days, the SMHI, I think SMHI, if I don't remember, if I remember, it's also the same as this website. It's like their weather website, meteorological website, let's say, has published a warning of high temperatures, hot days, and warm nights. May be lovely, but also bring problems. For instance, water shortages can lead to local conflicts. Public health is affected. Temperatures above 20. Young children, pregnant women, and the elderly make up some of the groups in Veneton who are particularly vulnerable during heat waves. True, since these people have difficulties regulating their body temperatures and they need special care during very hot weather, it seems that Veneton will have to get used to more heat waves in the future. But I think with the hard, like if you expect that the temperature is going to rise 80 degrees, that should be the case. The risk is already 5 times as high as it was 100 years ago. Take care of each other in Wellington. Nice message. Um, so, what's another confusion that I have right now is that we chose the hard game to play. Do we know that we are in the trajectory like to go towards that 8-degree temperature, or as a player we don't know, but the way that the events are happening are kind of like hinting that. um in other words, I want to say when we started the hard game, we already knew that there's going to be like a rise in the temperature. So some of this information is kind of makes sense. But maybe if the game designers have hidden this information and revealed it in the end of the game, then it would have made sense why everything is so extreme, despite that we are trying to make really nice adaptive measures. Ooh, more. Oh, I am like really getting impatient. So I will skip. Oh, that was the last one actually. So During the period the following extreme weather occurred. During the period the following extreme weather occurred. Um, so this is like 1 10 years rain, obviously 1 7 day heat wave, 3 days heat wave, 1 10 years drought. It I don't know what is A and B actually. What effect does the action give? Um, I really don't know. Save lives. We didn't save that much lives. Affected global goals. Economy. Um, so sorry. I think because we increased the urbanization in the first mission, we brought some tax incomes and income from buildings, but also there were like maintenance costs and everything. So we're not like completely poor. But we didn't save any lives. I don't know. 1 out of 4 is like 1/4 or 1 out of 4 or I just understand that we didn't perform very well. But I kind of also wish that we could go and read the last one about the weather. If I knew that that's going to be the last one, I wouldn't have skipped. But it was like too much long text. Okay, so we have new choices. Can we go and read? So, like for example, I really wish that we didn't skip, or at least I had taken a screenshot. But yeah, sorry about this. You can go and play, make the same choices, and see what happens in 2030. So now we're actually in the future because right now we're in 2024. So it is 2030. We have new missions. Okay. So A and B were this thing that we saw in the results. So can we see the results again? Um. Oh, what we did? Oh no. Oh, continue. Oh my God, I had like this heart attack. But maybe another thing that was not that skipped my mind is that okay, now you can see that we improved a little bit in these 3 areas. It used to be this one, so now we are at least neutral. This one I don't remember. Um, I okay, now that we didn't mess up completely, let's see. What is this information? Let's continue because I don't want to kind of skip my progress, but um, I like also to kind of reflect a little bit before moving on to to those things that we saw in the previous screens. Establish new industries. Save the hospital from flooding. Okay, let's save hospital and save some lives. The hospital is situated in a hollow. During heavy rainfall, the roads to and from hospital can be flooded. In the worst case, the hospital's electricity, heating, and coach will be disabled, which means that they can't do operations and they can't save lives. Do you want to implement any of the following measures? Uh, let's say I would imagine that yes, we need like industries because we need this. I'm a bit shocked by this. Then densify the city, happiness, save lives. Okay, they're not happy. Happiness, save lives. Okay, they are slightly happy. Yeah, I definitely say that we need new jobs, but maybe saving people should be prioritized. Click on different alternatives for more information. Here it's only rain. Let's see this one. This is rain and heat wave. Mobile barriers and ditches. Ditches, pound, permanent barriers, and highway protection. Uh, it's very difficult. Um, Mobile flood barrier or temporarily. Uh, let's go back. So the hospital is enduring heavy rainfall. So we have to remember that there's going to be like from 2030 to 2040, there's going to be at least like 1 10-year rainfall. It can happen at any moment. We cannot like we I think we can predict it at some point. At least like definitely in 2030 we have more technologies to predict. The roads to and from the hospital can be flooded. So this is a very expensive choice. This is kind of like even without reading the arguments, I would say that this is like a very um too floppy solution. Teachers, I would say it kind of makes sense because then we're more resilient towards a 10 years or 100 years flood because it can happen even in 2030. Mm, Permanent barriers and highway protection. I think at some point we should get there, but then if we spend all of our money on here, what would happen to the industry? We still have like 3,000 left, and if we do nothing, we're going to definitely go nowhere. So let's see the arguments. Um, there's so much. I have no idea how to read this. Scaremongering again regarding the effects of climate change. Okay, I pronounced it correctly. The spreading of a frightening or ominous reports or rumors. Nice. We also learned something about literature today. So there's going to be this regarding effect of the climate change. It is just a way of getting more money for unnecessary projects. Using sandbags is a sensible suggestion. With so much spending, we have to ask ourselves what the money could be used for instead. Uh, yes, I agree, but I still don't think it's enough. It's not definitely a resilient solution, especially if we're going to protect a hospital, which already includes a lot of valuable resources and resources in terms of the people, but also like a lot of equipment, and it's a vital place. Like when an emergency hits, a hospital is very important, so we should take better care of it. This isn't a good enough, yeah, by a long shot at best, portable barriers will be enough for a torrential downfall. But what happens if there's an actual flooding? Uh, Alternative, so I don't go with this. I will definitely go with this one. I'm interested to know what. Should we direct the water into the fields? That could destroy valuable farming land. Stormwater, especially flood water, contains a lot of pollutants. I have to say that I didn't think about this. Very valid argument. Um, the important thing is that good healthcare is for everyone. The hospitals should be able to handle severe flooding. Um, yeah, but the roads to the hospital are still at risk of flooding, which can cost lives. Last argument. This sounds great, but it's more likely that just a waste of money. There must be more important things that we can do with our tax money. We have survived floods before. Um, A working hospital is a matter of life and death. The fact that we haven't already ensured that ambulances can go to the hospitals at all times is a disgrace to the city. Large floods have happened before without climate change. Ditches, permanent flood barriers around the hospital, a new highway exit is built. The ambulances are therefore always be able to go there. Mm. So now I don't really understand. I will go back. Oh, I didn't want to do this. I just wanted to see if it's like C and this one is X. Oh shoot. I think I can still like do something. Or is it like can I reverse my action? Oh, I can reverse my action. That's nice. We choose purchase something else. We can just say that we're not going to prioritize it. I still like to go with this option. I'm a bit hesitant between this one and the other one. But I was sold by this idea that we don't need to sacrifice farming land for the sake of saving the hospital. It's not about saving lives, but it's also about like saving the food for the same people. and maybe this is like more costly. Direct, is it still like directing to the pond nearby field? But this is to the pond. Okay, so it's still kind of like we have to, yeah, direct the water somewhere. But at least we have better healthcare. So let's go for with this one. And let's see how much do we have actually. Ooh, we don't have any money today, I think. Um, Perhaps if I could go back, I would have like we still have the option to say that okay, we're going to like go back to this. Um, and then we can have some money for this one, or at least like the easiest one. New industrial area, transportation by truck, transportation by truck and ship, transportation by truck and ship. Mm, yeah. Okay, let's take nothing. Let's see how what happens. And can we change even now? Like, okay, no. Um, just curious. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh, this time we didn't have the newsletter kind of thingy. During this period, the following extreme events occurred. Oh, we didn't have any flood actually. The following extreme weather, it was just heat wave and 10 years drought. So we saved. I can't still understand this, but we have just a slightly more money than before. But you can see that sustainable cities and communities are lower because we didn't have any industrial growth close. But can we like why didn't we have like did we make some mistake that we didn't get a newsletter? Did the computer like heard us gossiping about it? But it is nice. You can see that there were like different extreme weathers. Okay, let's go for safe drinking water and new housing in the forest. I would go for safe drinking water. We are in 2040. We need to affect the conditions for stable drinking water. Heavy rains increase the risk of chemicals and microbial contamination of water catchments. There are so water shortages during the drought. High temperature increase the risk of biological contamination reproducing in the drinking water. Do you want to implement any of the following measures? It was a bit too technical. Even though I'm a technical person, uh, I would say it's like really serious. I mean, like the fun aspect is less highlighted here. Also, I'm a bit so just kind of from the engineering perspective, we had like one 10 years event and nothing here, which means that there we're going to definitely have like some 10 years 10 years extreme weather here. We never know when it's going to be this 100-year event. You can see like the risk is high, quite low, but we're going to have like a lot of 3-day heat wave. So let's see, information restrictions, tankers and water protection. Information restriction, tankers, water protection, and move the waterworks away from the industrial area. Information restrictions, everything else. Implement advanced water treatment technology and reduce pollution from parking garages. Why suddenly reduce pollution from parking garages? I don't know. I really like to explore all of these options, but it's just I'm being flooded with a lot of information, and also I'm still not understanding like um how these things work. Kind of understand that they have an engine that have like predefined scenarios that if it happens this and that, but it doesn't help me with my decision making, or at least it's me. Maybe if you play it, you come to other arguments, but I don't want to read all of this. I really like this kind of pro and con, but it's also getting too much when you like have to do it for all of them. Mm. Oh, we are at the risk of 100. So I didn't understand why the parking garages are given green roofs and rainwater ponds in basement to avoid spreading climate water catchment. Um, Good suggestion. Solve problem root rather than dealing with the effects. Big props. Um, Stormwater ponds in the basement. Stormwater ponds. These basements are already used as an important storage spaces. Green roofs will increase housing heights, which are already too high. Um, Green roofs are a little bit of controversy because they are good measures to protect ourselves against, like our cities against, or buildings against many climate change induced hazards. At the same time, you need to take care of them. Um, so it's not a solution for every city, and therefore I understand this argument. So this one, clean water is fundamental. A long-term solution is essential. The proposal provides reasonable response to a problem, plus it creates a nice recreation area. I think this is quite like general. Like you can ask anyone and they will say, yeah, like if you go with this option, it's good, it's long-term, it's reasonable. I would have liked to read a more mm, detailed contemplation. It won't stop. Uh, so here, no comment seriously. These large projects may sound good, but it is almost always ends in complete waste of money. Uh, Again, not um, something that helps me because I can already see that it's going to cost a lot of money. Restriction tankers that the waterworks are moved from industrial areas to the boulder ridge in the city's green areas, the newer. Let's see. No. Let's see how much does it cost for this one. So we need new housing in the city. New housing will increase the flow of new citizens and tax revenues. But I don't know how it's going to be because we didn't have any industrial growth in the previous step. And this time again, we cannot go with this option because that's what we did last time. uh, and also because this time is like in the forest, if I'm not wrong. No? So it's like, yeah, new housing in the forest. So definitely these options are all bad. Most definitely. So we have like 14,000. Which one is like, this one is like 1,000. In the information, clean water. Surely we can survive for a week with water delivered by trucks. So it's complicated. Yeah, this is a good argument, I would say, but the argument in the previous pop-up was not really helpful. Restrictions on water trucks is not adequate solution if we want to be attractive city for the skills we need to attract. This is true. If you're watching this video, I really don't know from where on the planet you are, but I have lived in cities where there were like this kind of water restriction in extreme weathers, and it's not the ideal kind of life that you like to have. But if it happens only twice a year, it's something, and usually the government gives you some notice before you, and especially if you have like a water tanker, it's not going to be extremely difficult to live through like that for 3 days. I'm not going to say I'm not like preaching this idea as the best case scenario. The only This is just like reflections of like personal experiences, and the water was definitely not cut off for 3 days. It was cut off for like half a day, then you had like a little bit of water, then maybe like another week there was like again like no water for half a day. And I know that at least in Iran, there are some cities that they have had this issue for multiple days. And when the water came back in the pipes, it was quite dirty because it was like it contained a lot of sands and definitely pollutions. And I know that like living like that is definitely not ideal. Uh, However, I would think that this solution is already like, you have water pipes, you have water pump, you have water containers, uh you water tankers, you have water protection areas and water towers and so on. Um, just saying that like personally, I don't like to go with this option. Uh, but I also don't see a lot of value in the other options because I think in the end there's going to be like water restrictions with new bird reserve and wetland increases the biodiversity. But do we need biodiversity in the city where we don't have the water, or do we need biodiversity even in places where we don't have water for humans? It's a kind of a controversial topic to even think about out loud because I'm sure that like if someone is coming from a biodiversity background, they would not they would correct my current limited perspective. Uh, but at least like I would like to go with the first cheapest option. It gives some resiliency to the city. Um, we can expand the city because we will save some money for the other project, and maybe we can also like. I really actually like to go also with this option because we have to think that in 2040 we have to take care more of biodiversity and different species, but then we'll have no money for any other project. And this helps me reflect that maybe in the previous steps we didn't. If we had industrial growth, we probably had more money, so we could have chosen this option and new housing. Let me know what you think if you're watching this video, but for now, let's go with this one. And for this one, we are going to, oh, we have like, 30,000. Let's go with yeah, let's go with this one. I'm not going to like read all of the arguments, but arguments is people want to move. The suggestion tries to conduct people's way of life. If people want to drive cars, they should be able to. You get to the point. Besides, it will be too expensive for ordinary people to live here. Apartment blocks, carpool parking, bright facades, plenty of green building stuffs, covered in vegetation, green areas, ponds, stem, water flow. Okay, so we have some water flow also here. Cool and increases biodiversity. Okay, I like this option because we eventually managed to use our money for increasing biodiversity as well, having some water flow next to these new living areas, and also we help with sanitation, water sanitation. We shouldn't replace this lovely forest at all. That is also true. Maybe we shouldn't have. This is an attractive area and high value, thanks to the calm and beautiful surroundings. Uh, yeah, apartment blocks. Okay, this is definitely not an option, but let's say that we did this. I will come and play this game again. It's not like super fun, but it's engaging in a way that I constantly like double question my actions. So let's see. So you can see the heat wave is like costing us a lot of things and we're like in maintenance, nothing. Ooh, heat wave is killing us. Half of harvest wiped out. I'm sorry, I'm not going to read this, but yeah. Fatal dust. Long droughts are leading drier soil. Mm. During this period, the following extreme weather happened. So we had like 3 times 10-year rain. Um, I'm a bit confused why we had 3 times 10 years rain. I like to read more scientifically about it because we didn't have like a 10 years rain between. 2030 and 2040. So it makes sense that it kind of like was shifted to 2040 and 2050. And if we had like another 10 years rain, it means that there's not going to be a rain between 2050 and 2060. 3 times 7 heat waves, one time, 100-year drought. Well, I think this is the majority of the where the majority of the costs are coming, and this 100-year drought is it could have been at any of the years. So at least that's how I think it should be based on my environmental background. But definitely I need to. I wish I could have had this conversation with the people who are experts so they could enlighten me whether my thinking is correct, that it could have happened by chance, not completely by chance, but it could have happened like 100-year drought in any of these years, or it's like more of a chance. Yeah, I really like to have this conversation. Saved lives. We didn't save anything, but at least like we're not as bad as before. We have only 1,000 left. Tax income come from buildings because we had more buildings. Maintenance costs were not high, but the drought killed us, the heat wave killed us, the rain not so much. Land on life on land is decreased, but for the others, we did not do bad for the others, huh? I'm proud of ourselves. Okay, so we're not. What is this? Oh, this is like the number of times we had like something. So 2050. We oh, we are in debt. I strongly believe that if we had created something here, we would have more money to do something. So we cannot basically do anything, right? Can we? No, we cannot because we don't have the money. So we just have to choose this. But what were the options? Contingency plans, information cooling measures. So it's like yeah, retirement houses. You have no choice. Flooding everywhere. People who actually made it into the work have been paddling around. The elderly and other risk categories had difficulty getting to the hospitals. Okay, I'm a bit surprised because we kind of spend all of our money that year on the hospitals. Um, so why? Uh, so this is extreme weather will be more. It's difficult to say exactly how common. Okay. Affecting the security of people must be secured against 100-year rains. Driver perishes that day, 2060. Yesterday's historically massive torrential rain caught someone, didn't manage to. The driver managed to get out of the car but had no chance against the strong currents. Her body. Okay, I don't want to read this. I'm sorry. It's like just sad, even if it's like um hypothetical scenario, just sad to read this kind of news, especially knowing that I made this decision that this NPC kind of died. Regarding the gamification elements, I can see that my emotions are quite aroused at this news, um, especially with the details. Like, I read this and my immediate action was that okay, like someone died. But when I read how this happened, yeah, the game kind of affected my emotion. I think this is really nice part of the game. The hospital reports that many people have had difficulties getting to the hospital. Again, I'm very upset at the same time because I really wanted to stop this to happen. They have helicopters. Well, maybe a suggestion for the game is that in 2060, I expect some sort of like air taxi because we're going to have like much more technology, hopefully. So yeah, I like this kind of year approach. And I'm oh god. Yes, minus 300. Yeah, let's see the results. So we didn't save, we saved, okay, maybe we saved only 50 out of 204. Maybe that's what it means. But we definitely didn't do well on any of these areas. And we had 6 times 10 years rain, so in 50 years. 40 times 3 days heat wave, 3 times drought. We had taken some measures against the drought. And one other suggestion for this game or is that like I see X and A and I see like yeah these things, but I cannot see the map. It's a little bit irritating where I can see these things, but I can't like see where is what, how it looked because I don't remember like everything. And definitely, as I said, like 100-year rain happened once, so probably that's why someone died and the flood stopped people to get to the hospital. So it makes sense. Oh, we had like more drought. Again, I'm a bit surprised because I would have thought that in Sweden we will have more rain events than more drought events, but maybe I'm wrong. So let's see. Oh, what happened? Which there's room for improvement. Yeah, sure. So economy, what does this mean? You get 2 stars for saving more than 2 times your investment in climate adaptation measures. Your investment paid off. I don't know which investment. You have not managed to save any money for the future. Yeah, that was like really embarrassing. The citizens are very unhappy. I could see that. I reached only 1/5 of the goals. I think the biggest mistake is again like the industrial thing. I would say that it was, uh, yeah, it was bad decisions, but also lack of understanding how. I think we also made a mistake at one point when we selected something and we couldn't go back. Your rating will be 2 star, which, uh, okay. Let's answer. Who played high school? Oh my god. With 2 stars. I'm ashamed to even like to wrote who did this. How many participated one? What is the content did you play? In what context, sorry, did you play? Lecture in social science, serious gaming, SY, circular transitions, project, was a role of the role. What? No, okay. They had some information in the beginning, but I didn't clicked on any of the PowerPoints or anything. What rating do you give to the game? I would give. I really liked overall. Really liked it, especially like as I said, like it was kind of not super fun, but it managed to engage me for a very long time. I wouldn't give it like 10 or 9 because serious game in my opinion should be also fun. However, I really like the 3 scenarios that like hard, easy, medium. So I will definitely go back, play again, post it. Uh, I I I said some comments during the whole gameplay that like I wish there was, for example, you could see the map while you could see how things turned out. Uh, what other another thing that I wished was that I think there were a few instances where I could have corrected something. Um, and I was not sure. For example, the first time we had only like we could take in 2 actions, but at some years we could have taken only like 1 action, and some years we couldn't have taken any action. So as the game progressed in terms of years, in parentheses, I understand that you don't want the game to be like too long, but I kind of felt restricted that oh my god, like now I can't like clear some of my bad decisions that I instantly understand that it's a bad decision. So overall, I would like to give it like a 7.5, but I would go with 8. What can be improved? I wish I had clicked this thing. So maybe I would just like the three top things. Show the map uh, while showing the results, outcomes of that of the periods choices to add ability to redo a choice cost incurred. What else did I say? I said that we explain more. Uh, where is the city? And maybe for years. Okay, so overall, if this pop-up doesn't kill us, the game was very nice. I really liked it. Yeah, I didn't perform very well, but I learned many things. I managed to kind of test my previous knowledge because my background is actually environmental engineering, and I had all of these kind of like 100 years flood, etc. calculation many years ago. But because I went circular economy, I didn't like really worked out this knowledge. So it was nice to brush up my knowledge in an actual simulation. I can go back to the city. Yeah, I think the environment was nice. But at some point you might forget that your goal is to increase these things. The newspaper was too long, but I totally enjoyed it. I will go back and play other games, and I will update you. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments, say it here. If you have any comments about the game or about my narration and my playing, do not hesitate to write to me. And see you in the next video. Bye.